Today on the virtual sauna bench, we sit with longtime thermal enthusiast friend and SaunaTimes contributor Kev, who takes us through the public bathhouses in and around Chicago for this Sauna Circuit. As you'll hear in this episode, Kev is no stranger to the saunas, banyas, and bathhouses in his hometown. What's cool about Chicago is that the banya culture is well developed and also quite historic thanks to aptly entitled Chicago Bathhouse, a traditional bathhouse at 1914 West Division Street in the Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois, which has operated continuously since 1906. Formerly Red Square, this Russian-style bathhouse takes you right into the heart of Slavic sauna culture and was featured in this 2016 SaunaTimes blog post available on SaunaTimes. And layered on top of that, you'll hear about the Asian-inspired King Spa, the deep, heavy heat offered at Chicago Sweatlodge, the new Kiln floating sauna, a dream come true right there floating on Lake Michigan at Navy Pier, and a Kev fan favorite, the Sauna Club, where it's affirmed that, quote, we can solve for heat, but sometimes solving for the cold is more of a challenge. And in this case, the time to leave the hot room is when the idea of a fresh cold lake plunge in Lake Michigan just steps away is about the best idea you've ever heard. And each sauna circuit includes a few gems and adjacencies. These are special places shared with you by Kevin, the Chicago Sauna Scout. These adjacencies are in the spirit of people like us do things like this. For example, the Navy Pier and Lakefront path give Chicago visitors a real flavor of the city and also a chance to get some exercise before round one. And then there's some extra special restaurants to check out, each conveniently adjacent to and nearby a Chicago bathhouse, like Smoke Daddy's BBQ, Malnattis Pizza, and SuperDawg Drive-In, just to name a few. So, whether you live in Chicago or thinking of heading to Chicago for a vacation or on the march to the Windy City for work or a trade show, this Sauna Circuit is right here for you. To access, simply go to SaunaTimes.com, click on the SaunaTimes Circuit map, and then Chicago Sauna Circuit. From there, you're well on your way. So, let's visit with Kev and bring you along to the Chicago Sauna Circuit. This show is brought to you by the SaunaTimes Consultation Program. Are you or someone you know facing some decisions about building or hiring to build a sauna? Are you perhaps afraid to move forward because of the know-it-all pedantic chatter on those internet sauna forums? Well, Aristotle said, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And nobody knows less than me. I've been building saunas for 30 years, and through every consult, I meet you with an open mind with the ultimate goal of helping you realize your authentic sauna dreams. I can help with your sauna heater choice and help break some ties with a possible loved one. I have a PhD in sauna building diplomacy, and the doctor is in. I've seen it all, and then some, and have some bandwidth to help you too. Interested? Please go to SaunaTimes.com and click the consultation link at the top of the page. Now, on to the show. So, Kev, welcome.
You're recording it now.
Yeah, man. Welcome to Sauna Talk.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, it's great to have you on.
Good
Tell us
you.
where does this podcast find you? Like literally right now. Where are you?
I'm in Aurora, Illinois.
Mm-hmm. Whereabouts exactly?
I'm at Aurora University.
Great. And what's your role there? What do you do?
I work campus security.
Great. And what's your former profession before this role?
Actually, the same profession. It's police work. I work as a police officer for the university, and I also was a former suburban police officer.
In Aurora, Colorado?
No, actually, Aurora, Illinois, but the town next to us is Naperville, Illinois.
Perfect.
Both are large suburbs of Chicago, over 150,000 each.
Fantastic. I was just testing you there. Go ahead.
The two communities together are about 300,000 people.
Awesome. So I was testing listeners there because this is a beginning of a great series. Uh, the sauna map and sauna travel and sauna circuits. You are the first Sauna Scout, which is, in your hometown of Chicago, Illinois, and you're no stranger to thermic bathing and bathhouse culture. And what's the first? When is the first time that you went to a public bathhouse? Like, how long ago was that?
I think it was the late 90s. My brother-in-law had actually gone to Russia and had found the Russian bathhouses in Russia and had located one in a formerly Russian neighborhood, the Ukrainian village of Chicago, and located what's now Chicago Bathhouse, and took me there, and it was amazing. The heat was
Fantastic.
intense, the cold plunge was phenomenal,
So we're
and it was a
talking,
great
yeah,
experience.
yeah. So Kev, we're talking 20 years ago.
Maybe even 30. Yeah, pretty
Wow.
close. 25, 30
Fantastic.
years ago.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that the video works, and for those listening, great. That's wonderful, and for those watching, hopefully you can see. I'm at SaunaTimes.com, and then up at the top here, it's Sauna Map. It may say Sauna Travel, or it may keep it as Sauna Map. But if you click on there, you'll see we have close to 400 locations now: bathhouses, saunas, banyas within the map. And if you look at the upper right here, there's Chicago Circuit. And this is what Kev put together. This is his town, and this is your city, and this is a circuit that you've curated. And which one of these would you like to call out right now? Should we stay with the Chicago Bathhouse, or which one?
Let's go to the one that I introduced you to. That's how we met. Is I introduced you to Chicago Sweatlodge,
Mhm.
and that's how I had been a follower of SaunaTimes and found out Glenn was in Chicago for a weekend and invited him to the Sweatlodge. And you wrote a number of stories on that. We've done podcasts, interviews with the owners, and it's really my favorite sauna in Chicago. The one drawback for your listeners is it is not co-ed. It is men's only, but it is pure heat and just an amazing experience.
Let's stay on that, Kev. I mean, you and I are lovers of good heat, and for those listening, how would you describe what is good heat, either with Chicago Sweat Lodge specifically or in general? How would you describe good heat?
I think it's not just about the temperature. You can get hot anywhere, but the stone created from the sauna. The sauna is actually made of granite. If you look at that photo on the right, those are granite bricks in the Chicago Sweat Lodge. And then the inside is filled with 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of boulders heated until they're glowing. So it's a heat that just kind of goes through, not just to your skin, but to your bones. And you just feel it all over.
Right. Right. And that's what you feel at Chicago Sweat Lodge. Forgive me, I'm jumping around here. Here's the outside, a very nondescript building, and you can see some snowdrops from the non-high-tech photo that was taken, which is part of the allure in my view of Chicago Sweat Lodge. It's not it's a real bathhouse, right? Like it's a Russian bathhouse
Yes,
with
it is. It is a Russian.
yeah, without the bouginess. And so yeah, you're speaking about heavy granite, heavy mass. So you go in and you better have sandals on your feet, right, Kev?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's one of the key. They're very strict about wearing the sandals. You don't have to wear anything else, but you definitely have to wear the sandals.
And I'm thinking from a heat perspective. I mean, I went dancing around there without my sandals on once, and oh my gosh, my feet almost burned because it's hot everywhere, right?
Yeah. Though I made the mistake one time. I took the sandals off on a bench, and the sandals got so hot I couldn't put them back on. I thought, oh, I'll just walk out, but the floor was even hotter. So you just keep the sandals on your feet, or have a bucket of cold water to dip them in afterwards.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to look on SaunaTimes, what Kev was speaking about is there's some specific articles that feature Chicago Sweat Lodge, including a podcast interview with the proprietor at that time, where we look behind the curtain into the operation of Chicago Sweat Lodge. And what's quite unique about it is, and Kevin, love you chime in on this one, but it's gas heated. There's two hot rooms, and the banyas are heated overnight. Do you want to speak to that, or should I riff a little more?
No, I can. They basically heat it overnight with gas heaters. If you go there the first thing in the morning, if you open a sauna door, the rocks are still glowing. They are bright red. I mean, these are thousands of pounds of boulders that are glowing, and that heat stays the entire day. Very rarely do they need to turn on the stoves during the day. If it's a real busy Saturday or Sunday where there's a lot of in and out, they might turn the stoves back on for an hour or so during the day. But for the most part, the heat overnight is enough to keep it for 12, 14 hours during the day.
Amazing. Chicago Sweatlodge. Is there so part of the sauna circuits is we speak about adjacencies where people like us do things like this. And Kev, what have you discovered adjacent to Chicago Sweatlodge? Is there anywhere that you'd recommend for bathers attending Chicago Sweatlodge?
First of all, they have outstanding foods there. You've had their soups, which come with like almost a loaf of baked bread with it. The soups are phenomenal. Their food is phenomenal within the place. But there's also a couple nice neighborhood restaurants. My favorite is called Pancitlan 5. It's just a little Mexican taqueria half a block away with really good, authentic Mexican food. I've taken a few of our listeners and visitors there, and they've loved it. And it's very affordable, for $10 or $15. You'll be completely full.
Yeah.
Actually, it has some of the best salsa I've ever had in my life.
Right. And
fresh every day.
Yeah, Kev, it's a great point. We're staying with Chicago Sweatlodge, and we'll move over just for a moment. But what's so interesting about the menu there is it is, to your point, very heavy Slavic, but it's also got a lot of Mexican, well, not a lot, but it's got a nice selection of Mexican-inspired cuisine. And do you know why, or should I tell listeners?
The Sweatlodge itself is kind of a melting pot. It's a very diverse neighborhood, and you have a lot of Hispanic visitors there. So that's very popular. It's really, you go in there, I can hear 5 or 6 different languages in one visit. I feel like I've visited a foreign country when I go there.
Totally well said. And a lot of the Latinos have discovered Chicago Sweatlodge through boxing. A lot of boxers will go there on the evening before their weigh-in the next morning for weight loss. And boy, did that niche, or did that crew, they really it really caught fire. Pardon the pun, but there's a lot of not a lot, but to your point, there's an ethnic diversity there, and it's so cool to see Latin food and Mexican food on the menu there as a testament to good heat, knowing no borders, as well as culturally, the expansion.
Absolutely.
What's next on your sauna circuit, Chicago?
If I were doing a sauna circuit, I'd have to include something with Lake Michigan access, because Lake Michigan is an amazing cold plunge. It's one of the Great Lakes, and outside of Lake Superior and maybe Lake Ontario, probably one of the best cold plunges in the world. And especially from October to June, it stays cold enough. So Sauna Club is a portable trailer sauna right on the shores of Lake Michigan in Evanston, first suburb north of Chicago. So really on the Chicago border. It's run by Ryan Kohler. It is fantastic venue. The views are amazing. He runs a great sauna, and the heat and the cold is fantastic. He also has a pretty strong regular clientele there that is there every day, and they love that place. He's become part of that community.
Right, and Sauna Club is such a great name. I mean, it is what it is. It started with, Ryan's story is quite remarkable in its own way. I think it was during COVID where he and his pals were kind of restricted on sauna locations, and so it just kind of happened organically that they decided, well, let's get a sauna and let's make it happen. Did I kind of summarize that fair, or you kind of know?
Yeah, he started building one in his backyard, and it was pretty popular, and then he ended up investing in one of the portable Voyager saunas. And started the business there. And at the time, he was also running a full-time business on the side. And now he's doing mostly sauna. He still has the other business, but most of his work, I think, is in the sauna business now. And he keeps busy pretty much 12 months of the year.
Yeah. And so this his sauna, he's got a couple now, right? Couple saunas.
He's got two saunas. One's about a 10-seater, one's about a six to 8-seater. So he could really hold, 10 to 14 people at a time.
Yeah.
And he is right on the lake.
Yeah.
He has a couple locations in Evanston, depending on the season. One of the beaches he's at is more popular in the summer, so he moves to a different beach location that isn't as touristy. And so he has a couple nice locations, but they're all within the city of Evanston. They overlook Lake Michigan and Northwestern University. It's really Sunrise is the place to go if you're going to do a Chicago sauna tour. I would start it with a sunrise service at Sauna Club. That's the way to start any place.
Yeah. And if I was better skilled, I would be able to move our camera around. I apologize for those watching. I'm just a layman here and trying to move. I want to get you into the camera, into the screen. Are you seeing the screen pretty good, Kev?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay, so I got you. So is there an adjacency you'd recommend around Sauna Club?
I think just the Lakeshore Path is where I would go. There's actually a coffee shop right next to Sauna Club, run by the Park District. He partners with the Park District that's where his sauna is set up. So he likes to support the Park District, and so do I. So I visit the Park District coffee shop when I go there, which is a nice place, especially if you're doing a 6 a.m. sunrise sauna and swim. It's nice to have a cup of coffee afterwards and just kind of hang out and relax. Usually I'll go back and visit and hang out with Ryan while he's got another crew coming in for the next round.
Lovely. What's next on the Sauna Circuit for Chicago?
The original one and the oldest is called Chicago Bathhouse. It's had several different names. It's on Division Street. It's the old Ukrainian village. It is formerly Red Square. Before that, it was Division Street. It is the first place that I ever went in Chicago. They've put millions of dollars in upgrades into it, but it's still an authentic bathhouse. And it is co-ed. There's actually a men's area, a women's area, and a co-ed area. So really, it's all three setups. Amazing food, amazing restaurant, and an amazing neighborhood there.
Yeah.
It's a very, very popular neighborhood. Restaurants, bars, everything there.
Yep. A ton of different places. Yeah. Go ahead.
The same heat and the same cold you'd get at Sweatlodge, just a lot more in the neighborhood to offer.
Excellent, thanks. And I would put this on the must visit list. If nothing more, just the history, right? Like there's so many new bathhouses, saunas, banyas being opened up all over the world and certainly North America. But to go to the old school carries its own spiritual patina, we say, and it's abound in Chicago bathhouse. You can see
it is.
Go ahead.
It's amazing history. If you go back 50, hundreds of years, you'll see gangsters hanging out there. You'd see Chicago politicians hanging out there, movie stars, sports stars. I think even currently, I think there's a couple NHL teams that have some Eastern European players that frequent Chicago's bathhouse when they're in town. So I've heard from a number of people that the Red Wings and some of the other NHL teams, their players will visit there when they're after a game or something like that. So they're still getting politicians and celebrities there on a regular basis. And you know what? It's just a regular place. They don't get bothered. They're just another person in the sauna. Yeah.
Well, I think the lineage on some of the NHL connection here to bathhouses through Chris Chelios, who's a regular here. And I ran into him at Red Square one time. So all these NHL guys, they talk, right? And especially the Slavic, the Russians and whatnot, the connectivity there. But yeah, and it even says bathhouse on the outside of the stone building here, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much all it's ever been. But it's been that for over 100 years. Yeah, and that's the great part of that history there. So yeah, it's a must visit too.
Great.
So I would put Sweatlodge and Chicago Bathhouse and they're the same owner too. So
Yeah.
the business is run by the same people now, same owner, and they're definitely must visits.
Beautiful job. In the neighborhood, the adjacencies around Chicago Bathhouse are varied, right? You mentioned it's an up and coming neighborhood. There's tons of different spots just within a
It's not
couple
up
of
and
blocks.
coming. It's up. It's popular. It's a very popular neighborhood. Lots of restaurants, lots of bars. Right next door is my favorite breakfast brunch place in the city. It's called Milk and Honey. Fabulous food there, but it's always busy, but it's delicious. So breakfast or lunch, it's a great place. Down the street, if you're there in the evening, there's a place called Smoke Daddy. It's a great barbecue, one of the best Chicago barbecue places. So
Okay,
two very close places within walking distance.
Fantastic. So, Kev, I'm a shower curtain salesman, and I'm heading to Chicago for my trade show, and I have room for one more out of the 8 saunas that are on the Chicago Sauna Circuit. What would be another, if you had to, not to be exclusive or whatever, but for the sake of time, talk us through one more sauna on the Chicago Circuit.
That's a tough choice. I would probably go something different called King Spa. It's a Korean sauna, and I call it the Disneyland of spas because it has everything in there. There's like 10 different spa rooms, 10 different heat rooms. The hottest room I've ever experienced in my life is one of their saunas. I've seen it up around 290 degrees. It's insane. That's actually a smoke sauna where they build a fire inside there, let it burn for hours, and then pull out the coals, and you sit on the floor. So it's unique. It's different. In general, everyone loves King Spa. My wife and daughters love going there. It's got wet spa areas with hot tubs and cold tubs and steam saunas and nap rooms. You can even spend the night there. So if you're flying in or out of Chicago with your shower curtain rings, you could spend the night there for $10 extra, sleep there, and catch a 10-minute Uber over to O'Hare. So King Spa is definitely.
And there's probably room for my sample suitcase too, because many people.
They actually will store your luggage. They'll store your luggage while you're there. So they actually have a little storage closet. They'll take your luggage. You can store it there. Spend the day at the spa. Get a nap room or a sleeping area. They have these giant recliners that fold out into sleeping areas. Give you blankets and pillows. You can spend the night there and catch your early morning flight the next day.
So the choice is easy. Would you rather spend, if you landed at Chicago O'Hare late at night, it's midnight, whatever, and you have an early flight in the morning, do you go check into the Hilton Garden Inn or do you go check into King Spa? And either one, you have to make sure you get to O'Hare again. But this is quite close. You bring up a great point. We're quite close to O'Hare Airport.
Yeah, actually, most of the places I've mentioned are within a half hour of O'Hare Airport.
And for a Chicago guy like you, a Chicago guy, half hour is like nothing. But if you're from Des Moines, Iowa, you could go from one farm on the east side to another farm on the west side. But Chicago's a big ass city with a lot of getting around. But O'Hare, north, what is it? North or northwest? A little bit
northwest side. Northwest side of the city.
Yeah. And King Spa.
Most of the saunas are on the north and northwest side of the city. So they're all pretty close to the airport.
Yeah, you can see how that list. So Kev, if those are interested, it's so easy. Just go to SaunaTimes, click on the Chicago Circuit. We're going to have about 30 of these up before long. Thank you for being the Chicago Scout, taking your experience in your own city and bringing it really to the world through this podcast and through SaunaTimes, through the map. I just want to thank you for being who you are, number one, and also raising your hand to volunteer to curate this 8 bathhouse tour of your home city. What else?
It's a passion of mine. I love the saunas. I love the city, and there is a new one popping up that's in one of Chicago's biggest tourist destinations. It's going to be at Navy Pier, which is one of the largest tourist destinations in Chicago. It's called Kiln the Floating Sauna.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer, they're up in the Green Bay, Wisconsin, Door County area, and they are wintering in Chicago at Navy Pier. And it's a floating barge sauna overlooking the city of Chicago. So that would also be a must visit. It is actually, they've just opened in the last couple of weeks, so it's on my list of places to go. And I'm excited about checking it out. I've been wanting to visit them since they opened in Wisconsin. I just haven't made it to their place yet. But
Beautiful.
I guarantee you over the next 2 weeks, I'll be probably putting up a review on SaunaTimes of Kiln Floating Sauna.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Kev. Well, tell us a little bit more about what you do. We heard about your day job. You're in law enforcement, and thank you for your service to our safe and fine city of Chicago. But you got a much better gig than chasing down car thieves in the city of Chicago now, right? You're at a college university, right?
Yeah, I work for a university, and then on the side, I also have a tent sauna group that I'm active with, and I'm a kind of a promoter ambassador of sauna tents. So I do testing, reviews, and information on sauna tents.
Fantastic. And
again,
how can people find that, Kev? How can people find you there?
That is on Facebook. It's called the International Disciples of Sauna Tent. And on Instagram, it's Sauna Tent Disciples. So both of those social medias will get you information on sauna tents. And our origin story is actually on SaunaTimes. Our first trip to Lake Geneva is how we got started. So we use SaunaTimes for reviews and just how it all got started too. So you can read about that on SaunaTimes.
It's a great organic story. And, as a lover of good heat, we talk about the Holy Trinity, heat, steam, and ventilation. And boy, you have helped me become a convert of that with sauna tents. They really fulfill all three, don't they?
They do that. They're affordable and they're portable. You can either have it in your backyard and leave it there forever, or you could take it with you wherever you go. If you want to go to Lake Michigan, you can set it up there. If you want to go up to Lake Superior or Isle Royale, wherever you want to go, you could take it with you. And that's the amazing thing about it. Mine fit in the back of a Honda Fit, a small compact car. I can fit sauna and benches and wood and rocks for 4 people in the back of a compact car.
And Kev, if you could have a, how many sauna tents do you own?
It fluctuates. Right now, I think I'm at 3 tents and 4 stoves.
Okay, so if you could bring one of these anywhere in the world, what's the first place that comes to mind? Where again, you don't even have to have it in your car. Maybe United Airlines would say, "Hey, man, let's go." What's the first place that comes to mind where you'd like to deploy?
Lately, I've been kind of hooked on this YouTube channel called Scout Outdoors, and they're on an island in Newfoundland. And from the scenery there, I think that's going to be high on my list.
Yeah,
going up to Newfoundland and setting up a sauna there. I think I'd also like to do one above the Arctic Circle, maybe Norway, Finland, one of those countries above the Arctic Circle. That would be a pretty amazing spot too.
Couldn't agree more. One of the things I think about quite regularly with these bathhouses and saunas and facilities all over is, I think we're doing a pretty good job of solving for heat. There's a certain stove that I'm a big nut for, and we could throw ads out on that one and stuff. But I think really what that opens up is the idea that, yeah, man, we can solve for heat, but solving for cold isn't always a given. And sometimes it's even more of a challenge for a bathhouse operator or a mobile sauna person to solve for cold. You see where I'm going, and do you want to riff on that, based on your choices?
I got distracted by something, but go ahead and
solving for heat. I think we're doing a pretty good job, but solving for
Yeah.
cold, right? Like I don't know about you, and we joke about jankification, where the idea of going into a cold plunge tank that has been well shared by many. And I could tell you my Red Square story or Chicago bathhouse story. I flew into Chicago from Minneapolis, and I was the first one there. I was actually thinking I was the first one there when they opened in the morning at Chicago Bathhouse. And I go down and I get in my robe and I go in the hot room, and there's this big, sweaty Slavic dude kind of sitting there. And then a minute or so later, I hear him get out and splash right into the cold plunge. And I go, man, there goes that beautiful, clean water. Now I got to go deal with his sweat. So anyway, I'm not a sweatophobe, but I do think a lot about solving for heat and then solving for cold. And you kind of bring up a great point as it relates to sauna tents, the ability to deploy in nature with fresh, clear, clean cold. Any
Oh yeah,
thoughts?
there's nothing like a cold lake. There's nothing like a cold lake, and that's one of my favorites. So, yeah, that's what I like the best. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan. Most of our Great Lakes are phenomenal sauna lakes. Lake Superior year round. Lake Michigan, 9, 10 months of the year. Same with the other Great Lakes. So Lake Ontario, I believe, is also pretty cold. So that's a 12-month a year sauna lake. So yeah, the Great Lakes are very close to most of our members in our groups,
Yeah,
and they're accessible. So
well done.
that's the great thing about the sauna tent is it becomes accessible. You can set up on a beach and do a sunrise over Lake Michigan, drive around to the other side of Lake Michigan, set up and do a sunset on Lake Michigan on the same day. So that's the great thing about it.
Lovely. Kev, what's in store for you? You've been in law enforcement for how many years, and how many more years are left? And what's
38 years, and who knows how many more? Definitely a couple more, and we'll see how it goes. I like my job. But I also like to do the sauna and work on that. So we'll see where it goes. I anticipate doing more sauna stuff in the future, but I don't anticipate dropping out of law enforcement either. So
got you? So
no,
if
no huge changes for a while.
right on, man. If people listening want to come to Chicago, either for the a trade show, or if business is bringing them to Chicago, or just pleasure is bringing them to Chicago with sauna travel, what would you be interested if there are sauna fanatics like you and I to help
Oh,
bring
yeah.
them around?
I would definitely be an ambassador or a tour guide. Definitely interested in that too. So that may be a future possibility too. Sauna tour guide. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, who knows? Maybe sauna tourism is already a thing, or maybe it's the thing of the future. We'll find out pretty soon.
Well, I can
We'll
attest.
see how your sauna. We'll see how your sauna maps go. That might encourage sauna tourism itself. If you can take a city in San Francisco, London, Toronto, and have a pre-made sauna tour. That's a pretty cool way to do it.
Well, so many things start grassroots, right? Like great things start grassroots. And I'll just share with listeners, the day I first met Kevin, like, in the flesh, was actually a trade show. I was at McCormick Place, and Kev pulls right up, picks me up, and off to Chicago Sweatlodge. We met, we shook hands as we got out of the car, and we've been friends ever since. What year was that, Kev, when we first met?
It was pre-COVID, so it was probably about almost 10 years ago, probably around 2016, 2017,
Sounds about right. Could
right
have even
around
been
there.
a little bit earlier than that, because I was a corporate
Might have
foot
been.
soldier. Yeah, I was a corporate foot soldier with Nestle back in the day. And, that's one thing I do love about sauna travel, whether you're, in sales, or, working for a company, and you get, into a business meeting or whatever. And just this ability to peel out either on your own or with some friends and attend one of these saunas, whether in Chicago, one of the 8 saunas on Kev's circuit here, it really is transformative. I mean, it takes you to another place. Um, any final thought to that?
Yeah, no, and the other thing is if you're doing business travel, sleep is always an issue. And I know for me, if I have a good sauna cold plunge session, sleep is never an issue. I sleep really well after that. So that would probably be another benefit of the sauna tours.
Right on, brother. Well, Kev, thank you again for sharing with listeners your city, Chicago, and the different bathhouses available for guests to your city. Final words.
No final words. Just check out the sauna map on SaunaTimes and feedback with Glenn what you think of it.
Thanks, Kev.
Thanks, Glenn. We'll see you later.